What's up, guys? Today is an exciting day because we're starting a new little mini series on how to buy a home. We'll be talking about what steps you need to take to get into a home, the costs associated with being a homeowner, and different types of financing to help you get into your dream home. Whether that be your first home, your second home, or your seventh home. First off, thank you guys for tuning in. I want to thank all the subscribers and repeat viewers. Thank you guys so much. If you haven't already though, go ahead and subscribe to the Wasatch Front Living YouTube channel, where we do custom home tours, we do tours of neighborhoods, talk about how to buy a house, and much more. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you guys don't already know, I'm a realtor here in the state of Utah, and I have an app that you guys can download to help you in finding your home. It's really cool and it's really easy to download. The instructions are here at the bottom of the video, as well as in the description of this video. So again, if you guys are looking to buy a home, go ahead and download that, and those listings will get sent straight to me, and I can go ahead and set up showings for you right away. All right, so the process of getting into a home isn't necessarily that difficult. The costs associated with it are, first, having a down payment, and two, being able to cover the closing costs. There are ways to get around those things, as far as not having a down payment and not having money for closing costs, and we'll talk about that today. All right, so first off, we'll talk about down payment. Like I was saying, there's a couple ways to get it done. If you're going conventional and want to avoid private mortgage insurance, which if you don't know what that is, we'll go into that more in another video, but basically it's just an extra amount that's added onto your mortgage that just makes it a little bit more expensive. But if you want to avoid that altogether, you have to come with 20% or more of the purchase price of the home. So if you're going to purchase a $350,000 home, you bring 20%, that's a down payment of $70,000. So obviously not everyone can afford that and be able to do that. That's obviously very ideal. It gets you ideal rates and avoids private mortgage insurance and all the other good stuff. So if you can do it, it's a great way to get into a home, to lock in the absolute best. But there's actually other ways to get into a really good rate and a good conventional mortgage. For example, my client is getting into a home right now that's in the mid threes, and he got into that at 3% with a conventional mortgage. The way you do that is having a really good credit score, and there's some income restrictions that come with that. And when we talk more specifically and go into detail about that, I can go into those income restrictions. But if you have a really good credit score and you meet those limitations, you can get into a home at 3%, which he did, with a 2.625 interest rate. So absolutely insane interest rate, still really low money down. And you know, he's paying that private mortgage insurance, but his mortgage is so low because of that interest rate that it doesn't really hurt him that much. Another avenue for especially first-time home buyers is called FHA financing. They ask you to put 3.5% down, which on the $350,000 home would be about $12,500, which is decently doable if you have a little bit of savings and things like that. But something cool that's going on is the Utah Down Payment Assistance Program. For example, I have another client that is getting into a home actually in the low fours in Harriman, and they got into the home using this FHA and down payment assistance program to avoid any type of down payment. So they're actually getting the home without closing costs and without a down payment, which is pretty awesome. The caveat that goes with the down payment assistance program is something that we'll dive into further when I make a video specifically about that. The second step here into getting into a home is something called closing costs. Basically what closing costs are is how the lender and other parties associated with closing your home loan get paid. And it can run anywhere from 2 to 5% of the total of the purchase price. For the year 2019, the national average was just under $6,000. A cool thing though, you know, if that number scares you, a cool thing, like I was just saying with my client, is they got into the home through down payment assistance, which helps with the down payment and closing costs. You can actually also work a clause into the REPC that allows for the seller to pay for either a partial amount or the full amount of the closing costs to help you in the purchasing of the home. So there are tons of ways to get around it. But I mean, it's just something to be aware of. If you're going conventional and the person doesn't want to give any type of help with the closing costs and you have to bring your own, it's just something to be aware of. It's going to be, you know, on average around $6 grand on top of whatever your down payment is. Another little fee that is associated with getting into a home, it kind of has to do with, you know, making sure everything's okay in the home. It's called the home inspection. They aren't really that much. Depends on the square footage, the year of the home, and all that stuff. But on average, they're going to be anywhere from like $250 to $500. That comes out of pocket before closing. That's not a big amount, but it is something to be aware of that, you know, if you do want the home inspected, which is something I do recommend that you do, especially the older the home, you want to make sure that everything is structurally sound and that there's no issues going into your purchase without you knowing about them. Okay guys, that wraps it up for how to buy a home. So there aren't a lot of steps. They're very important steps though, and there's a lot of detail that goes into each of those steps, even though there's only about 2 steps. Very important things to acquire financing and to make sure that your credit's good and all your ducks are in a row before you get a home. All right guys, thanks for tuning in, and if you haven't already, go ahead and give us a like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And again, if you're looking to buy a home, please reach out to me and go ahead and download my app. So my contact info and the way to download the app are at the bottom of the video and in the description of the video. Any questions at all, please feel free to reach out and go ahead and download my app so you guys can start looking for your dream home. Thanks guys.